Okay, you guys saw on the channel a few days ago, we had an interview with Mr. Peak Talk himself. I do like, I'm obsessed with cycling YouTube, and I think it's interesting to learn more about the men behind the channel. And women. We're open to women here. And neither men nor women.
Whoever.
Whomever.
Them
ever. Z ever. Whatever. So today we are here, joined by the glorious Luke Wilkinson, I believe.
Yeah, that's the one, baby.
As people should know him. Today we're going to learn more about the man himself. So, the funnest Trace Velo Luke fact I've learned in the past few days was one of your first jobs on the canals.
Oh, I was a lock keeper.
A lock keeper.
Yeah.
What is a lock keeper for our American and
oh, blimey. If you're going up a river course, generally the level drops. As you're going down a river course, lock enables you to go upstream and downstream and control the water level. That was my job.
So it's his job to let barges or boats in the lock and then raise the water, open the lock and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's
just
the job.
Make polite conversation, have a cucumber sandwich next to the lock with a passing family. It was, I don't really know how I was paid for that job, to be honest with you. It was idyllic.
Very cool. It's one of those jobs where I guess someone does have to do that, but never would have managed. How old were you when you were?
I was, was 21, I think, maybe 20, 21. A past life.
Okay. Another interesting. Okay, this is supposed to be me interviewing him, but I've learned so much about this guy the past few days. I'll just tell you all the good stuff. He has a master's degree in HR, I believe.
Oh God, not to insult those HR professionals among the audience, but I did not enjoy that role. Did not enjoy that role. But yeah, I do have a master's in HR. I don't know why, looking back, but it's led me here. All part of the journey.
Star sign?
Taurus.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't know either.
Anyway, so the man, the myth, the legend, full-time YouTuber.
Yeah.
Full-time AliExpress fanboy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Saving everyone the big dollars, one purchase at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought we'd have a chat with the man and see what makes him tick and learn more about the man himself.
Yeah.
So, when did you get into cycling?
I got into cycling, big time got into road cycling as a means to an end, in the sense that I needed to get to work and I didn't want to have to pay. I lived in London at the time. I didn't want to pay for the tube or whatever, and the commute was, it's for those that live in London, you'll know that paying for tube every day, it's a lot of money. So I I got more into road cycling. I'd always cycled as a kid and stuff, but more into road cycling in a kind of more serious fashion on the commute. So that's where it really started for me. And then it was, what can I upgrade? Where can I go? What can I build? And that's what started it off. But I've always been into cycling, but road cycling started probably around the 2012 sort of era.
So when you were commuting in London, what was the road bike back then?
Back then I was on an aluminium Claude Butler Levante 09.
Claude
Butler, boy.
Levante
I think I
09.
paid £315 for it, for the whole bike.
What colour?
It was white and red, and it had Sora STI, the old school STI.
7-speed.
It was I think it was 8-speed.
Ooh.
Oh, baby. Baller. Yeah. Rim brake, 8-speed, beautiful machine.
Very cool. Okay. And YouTube. So before you started your YouTube channel, I assume you've been watching cycling YouTube.
Yeah. So essentially, I'd got a bit more into road cycling, and I was like, right, going around London, especially going around places like Richmond Park, for those that know, you see some spenny bikes around there. And I was always kind of lusting after these beautiful carbon machines from the likes of Pinarello, Sabello, whatever. Completely out of my price range. So obviously, taking a little dive into YouTube, you start to realize that there are these Chinese alternatives. And that's when I found my first frame. It was my first Chinese carbon frame, completely unbranded. It seemed to be a bit of a copy or a clone of a Ridley frame. I paid 300 quid for it, I think. To this day, it's done about 30,000 miles on it, something like that. And it's completely fine. Had no issues with it whatsoever.
That's the rim brake one with the yellow fluoro bar
tape. The fluoro bar
like,
tape, that's the one. Yeah, so that started off my kind of the dive into this like direct to consumer AliExpress rabbit hole for sure. Yeah. Although I think I bought that from eBay because that was back in, I think I bought it in 2015. I got a few bits from eBay and then slowly migrated over to AliExpress.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when was the moment that you said, you know what, I'm going to start a YouTube channel? What was the penny that dropped?
God, I don't really know. I think I got a camcorder from Argos for 50 quid, and I was like, I'm just going to give it a go because I'd seen a couple of your reviews, and some other people that had like explored some of the cheaper end of stuff, and I was like, oh, I could maybe throw something together. Mainly because a lot of my friends had like side hustles. And I wasn't, I think I mentioned I was working in HR at the time, not enjoying it much. And a lot of my friends had side hustles going on, and I wanted kind of to try something else, like, and try and indulge a passion in a way. So I was like, oh, I'll just throw a YouTube video up. And I think to this day, my original video's got the most views of any I've done, actually.
Oh, really? What
yeah.
was it?
It was on that frame.
Huh.
It was on this like cheap Chinese carbon frame.
Can you remember the title?
Are Chinese carbon frames any good or something? And I put a big question mark.
Okay.
In the
It's
thumbnail.
a red question mark on the one side.
And it was like a
You're on the other
green,
side.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll throw it out, see what sticks, because I just wanted to give something a go. And then it blew up for some reason. So then lockdown hit, and I had a bit more time to kind of invest in all this stuff, and it just picked up from there. So that's what, and that really opened up this like crevasse of these cheaper options that were out there.
Okay.
So, for sure, yeah.
So one thing, I think I know the answer before I ask this, but like now the bikes you ride and the stuff you buy, does having a YouTube channel influence you? Like, so for me personally, like there's the bike that I would buy for myself, or the color I choose for myself. And then there's like the bike or the color that will look good in the thumbnail. Or like, oh, this will be good for content because it's a bit shit. So like that will be a good story. Like,
sometimes, but in general, no. I the stuff I pick, I pick because I think it's cool. Sometimes I pick things that if I'm doing a comparison video, I'll choose one that I know I'm not really going to enjoy. But generally, the stuff I ride because I think it's interesting. Like my bike here. I've been running mechanical disc on this thing since I kind of built it. I think I had a hydraulic group set on here at one point, but there's no love for mechanical disc anywhere online. People hate it.
Yeah.
But I find all the mechanical disc options that you can get so fascinating. So it's what I run and it's what I like, and it means that I can like stick with a bit of a cheaper group set and choose some like interesting calipers and just have a play around with it. So yeah. There is a little bit of it, but in 99% of the time, what I get is what really interests me and what I would ride anyway, for sure.
I will say, all of your bikes look the same. Like, you seem to be a fan of black.
Yeah, well, that's because all the cheap stuff just comes in matte black. Yeah.
I guess to save money by not paying.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
How many black frames do you own, or have you owned?
1, 2, 3. I think 4.
Okay,
4.
that's less than I thought. Like, I thought you had like 6 black frames. Because I'm like, I think you just put your bikes through so many different iterations, because that's something you do a lot, right?
Yeah.
You like to strip a group set down and change the group set. For me, like, I don't like changing group sets. Like, I'm lazy, so I just get someone else to send me a new frame, put a new group set on a new frame. But that's how you end up with.
Yeah, I
22 bikes or
chop and
whatever.
change stuff all the time. My bike rarely stays in one condition for very long because I'm throwing stuff at. This frame is a bit of my test bench. It's mostly stayed the same in terms of the group set and the crankset that I've got on here, but I change out parts constantly. I'm changing out bars, saddle, cassettes, chain rings all the time, testing out different mechanical disc brake calipers. I think in the cupboard I've got maybe 12 different mechanical disc calipers. So I'm always testing out stuff like that. But it rarely stays in one config for very long. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like we did 50, 60 Ks together today, and like you're shifting. Like,
The shifting on this
no
is
weird
so
sounds,
good.
Like, everything's
Yeah.
been fine. Coming up to one intersection, you were indicating right, and you just left hand braking, and like you shredded off speed fast. I was like, I had the brakes are legit, like because I think I don't know if there's that many tinfoil cynics out there, but like maybe people think like, oh, every time when it doesn't shift properly, it just doesn't put in the video and stuff. But like, no, I've been sucking this guy's wheel for 55k yesterday. And it didn't skip a beat. So fair play. He preaches his.
Yeah, I genuinely, and again, who knows if you can believe me, but I ride the stuff that I show. I don't have
an S-Works SLA.
Yeah,
that he actually rides. And
yeah.
On the camera, it's like, oh yeah, this, but then he goes home and just rides.
This is my daily driver. I've beat this thing to death. It's done thousands and thousands of miles. But that's kind of the key to it for me, is the experimentation that the cheaper alternatives offer. The level of like experimentation with different parts and different configurations you can do without breaking the bank is bonkers. So I think, and I think I'll mention this in the video I'm soon to put out, but a lot of people, when they're investing in a bike, tend to do a big bang approach. So they'll be eyeing up a Cannondale Specialized Canyon for a couple months before dropping 8-10 grand maybe on a build, and then you're limited in terms of the choices of wheels, saddles, group sets to what's offered by that particular manufacturer. Whereas with something like this, yes, you can get into the kind of aspect of QC and the quality control and the quality of the products you're going to get, but at the end of the day, the level of experimentation you can have with the stuff is crazy, which is why I love it so much. Yeah.
That guy just died.
Uh-oh.
Battery. Anyway, we've got one left. We've got one angle left.
Got one angle left.
We're still rolling. We'll add speed. I totally agree. I recently did a video that's dropping soon on the Polygon Helios.
Yeah.
And great bike, great value, but like you miss that nuance of having absolutely everything decked out to your whim and desire, right? Like having everything how you like it, I think is the best thing about building your own bike. And that's one thing I'll say about your videos as well. Like, I used to not like hydraulics on bikes.
Yeah.
But after I watched your videos, I'm like, if this numpty can do it, if this numpty can bleed brakes, I'm bleeding brakes too.
Oh, that really surprised me. I thought that bleeding hydraulic brakes was going to be a nightmare, but it's so easy. It's no more difficult than mechanical.
So literally you cured my phobia of hydraulic brakes. I was like, wow, this guy's doing that.
If this guy can do it.
I'm like, I'll have a crack too then.
That's a backhanded compliment. If
no, very, very backhanded. Question.
Yeah.
So you've lived in a few parts of the UK, etc., and you've maybe ridden in one or two countries overseas. If you can ride any road in the world, it's your last ride ever. Like you're going into prison or you're going on the electric chair.
Yeah.
The big man says, "I'll give you one ride." Where are you riding?
It's probably in Mallorca. I was there recently, and it's just so gorgeous. The ride out to Cap de Formentor is beautiful because half of it is open to road traffic, but the second half is completely closed off, and it's just beautiful. The roads are so gorgeous because the roads in the UK are generally not particularly good.
I've had a tasting the past few days.
Yeah, I might try and go back out there this year, but I don't know if I'm going to have a chance. But yeah, that's definitely where I go. And
next question: money's no object.
Oh,
what bike do you buy?
Oh, I can't answer that question.
Yeah, you can.
Because
you've dreamed about it before. You've opened up the Specialized.com website or the whatever.com website and gone like, I can't buy this because my fans would eat me alive. But if no one is watching me, I would totally buy that.
I'd probably get a Canyon Aero.
Okay.
Yeah.
The new one?
The new one does look really tasty. And some of the paint jobs they have are really nice, actually.
Uh-huh.
So that's cool. But I generally don't tend to lust over that stuff much because I would never buy it. I would never buy it because this is one of the curse of the AliExpress rabbit hole you go down is that you can get a frame for, this frame was 384 quid, which is ridiculous, but it's been completely fine. Maybe it's just a sample size of one, who knows, whatever, caveats all round, but it's been fantastic. So when you pay 380 quid for a frame, in no way could I, with like full sanity, spend like 8 grand on a.
That's like going. He's still going. Come on, it's the 360. We love you.
Yeah, I guess there's no way I could spend that cash. So I do look at these and I do lust after them a little bit, but genuinely, I live and breathe the really cheap stuff because that's what I love. I love the experimentation. I love all the potential upgrades it offers you, and just. Yeah, it really excites me in a way that just the mainstream stuff and the more premium gear doesn't. Yeah, I love it. And the fact that often what you ride, no one else has. No one else is riding it. Not that that's a big like appeal to me, but it's that kind of slightly disruptive angle that I like. That it's a little bit away from the crowd, a little bit new, a little bit kind of risky, I suppose, in some ways. But yeah, it's appealing to me in a way that the mainstream stuff isn't. So that's why I love it.
Next question. So now you have a fairly good working knowledge of how YouTube works and the creator economy, all this stuff. If tomorrow you had to close your cycling channel and start another channel, what would your new channel be about?
Oh, I'd probably do like we mentioned. I've got a Mazda MX-5 Mark III sat in the driveway that I need to sell because I think I've mentioned before. I've got a little 10-year-old girl now, and
very
it's
cute.
Yeah, she's
10-year-old?
lovely. Yeah, 10-month-old.
Yeah, there
Sorry,
we go.
10-month-old little girl. A Mazda 2-seater Mazda MX-5, not the most practical vehicle. I'd probably start like a car, I do up the Mazda. I do like a Chris Fix type thing for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because you said your previous passion before you got into cycling was motoring.
Correct.
And you had a clapped out Civic you
yeah.
swapped in an
Rice
Integra R engine in.
Yeah.
That's what I'd love to go down that, because again, there's loads of like value parts for that kind of stuff. We mentioned like although Donut Media has gone through a bit of a tumultuous time recently, I did love their like high-low series that they did with the cars and stuff. So that's definitely what I do for sure.
Very cool.
Which again, it's quite similar to the stuff I do now. It's like I just like do the more value-oriented stuff in the motoring world.
You just do the low. It's like high-low.
Yeah, maybe low. Yeah.
And you've obviously sampled a fair share of Chinese products.
Yeah.
To say, if you could give one blanket piece of advice to every Chinese brand,
I don't know.
what would it be?
I don't know if I could do that to every Chinese brand.
Or something that you think most Chinese brands are guilty of?
It's difficult though, because the stuff I deal in, sometimes there's no brand behind it. So you have the unbranded stuff. But I don't know, not a brand, but I think the advice that I would give to because the more pertinent thing is giving the advice to the individual. Because when you're dealing with the stuff that I deal with, often the support and the warranty and the aftercare that you get from a lot of these cheaper stuff, it's non-existent anyway. So I think the advice I would give would be to the consumer, and that is watch as much reviews on the stuff as you can. It's cheap for a reason. Don't expect perfection. These things probably will cause you a bit of a headache when you're putting them together. The issues are really insurmountable, but cheap carbon handlebars, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that about wraps up for us. There's only one camera still rolling. This camera, or this camera. Tell the people what you got going on.
What have I got going on? I've got a new build I'm desperately trying to put together. I'm going to try and wring some more performance out of that wheel top group set. Some of you might have seen the last video I posted on it. Yeah. I don't know. More of the same. More cheap stuff coming.
Awesome.
So.
Well, it's been fun to meet you, fun to drink with you, fun to ride with you. Looking forward to seeing you come out to China, and hopefully we can keep working together.
Yeah, wicked.
Awesome.
Cool.
On that bombshell.
Let's finish. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Watch out.